All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our part 2 series where we're working on the player controller, which we're going to implement into our sandbox uh, terrain. So I think a couple of people were a bit confused after the recent episodes, thinking, wait, is that one over? It is not over. We are continuing on. I just split them up just to organize the videos a little bit. So it's a back end thing. Don't worry. This series is continuing in all the playlists and stuff. It's all good. So yeah, just assume this is part of the one series. Anyway, let's get started. So the first thing we want to do, we changed a bunch of settings here, and you can tell just by this blue line right here. Basically, wherever there's a blue line means we've modified a setting. So what we're going to do is just click overrides and apply all. Those blue lines will disappear. And what that does, it just applies everything that we changed back to this player root object. So now this prefab is up to date. The last thing I'm going to do is, while we're here, is just click on this walk in the animator. And I'm going to change this to 0.5. Just because that's going to give us a bit better, bit livelier looking animation, I guess. So there you go. Looks very nice. So now we're ready to get this guy running around in our terrain. So we're going to go over to our scenes, our game scene. And that's where our terrain is. So I'm just going to drag and drop player root object here. That's going to go to 0, 0, 0 by default. But that's not what we want. We want to set it to halfway between the world size. So world size is 200. I'm going to set this to position. On the x-axis, we'll do 200. On the y-axis, let's do maybe 150. Not 100% sure. Let's just press run and let's see. Y-axis will set properly later. I just don't want him spawning in the terrain for now. Sorry for the awkward cut, guys, but we are back. Where did we leave off? Let's see. We applied this, right? I think so. Yes. All right. In that case, think we're over here. Yep. Right. Yeah. Yes. And then we put our play here. Okay. Let's run that and see what happens. We want our player to spawn in the middle of the map. Height. So yeah, Y position doesn't matter. X position, you want it to be half of the world size. And then once the world generates, dude should be flying in the air in the middle of the terrain. That did not happen. He is flying in the air, but not there. Why? Because world size is 200, right? This should be 100. My math is wrong, as usual. Let's see. This should be fine. Yep. So I think that's all good. Let me zoom out. Yes. Fantastic. The only thing we have to add now is the camera script. So where's my camera script? In fact, let's just do this. Let's go here. Sure, save that. Our main camera, we're just gonna select this, do Control C, go to our game, and do Control V, and then we're gonna delete the original main camera. Cool. Rename this to normal main camera. Tag should be main camera. That's fine. And now we hit play, and we should be able to run around in our world, I think. Assuming we haven't forgot anything. So it loaded, and we have an error. The variable player transfer of cam control has not been assigned. Okay, that's weird. There you go. Now he is assigned. Let me hit play again, and I'm also gonna reduce the world size to 100, and I'll put this guy at 50. Because we're not testing the world generation, we're testing the player controller. So let's see what this does. Here we go. We fall through the map. Why is that? One thing we forgot in our terrain generation script is to actually add sprite colliders to our tiles. So when we place each tile, we should give it a collider if that tile should have a collider. So what basically that means is this. Where is it? Here. Our tile class. This should have a. Is it this one? No, that's tile class. Here. We're gonna have a public bool is solid, we'll say, equals true. So default is true because most of our blocks are going to be solids by default. Yes, that works. Okay, cool. Yeah. And then here, when we say add component sprite collider, we're going to say new tile, go away. There we go. New tile dot add component box collider 2D. There we go. That's fine. And then we're going to say new tile dot tag. Can we set this dot tag? Get set? Yes, we can. Equals ground, I believe. What does our player control ask for? Ground with a capital G. I'm just going to copy that. Paste that there. Cool. And that should be fine now. So now if I generate the world, our guy should land on the terrain and hopefully be able to run around on it. He will still be stuck on getting stuck on trees and plants and etc. because we haven't set that in the tile class. We defaulted it so everything is a solid block, which obviously grass is not. Let's see. No, we still fall through the world. Let's see what's going on. Where's our player root object? There. It's a rigid body 2D, capsule collider 2D. Yes. On ground, yep. What's our tile saying? Here we go. It's saying size is 0.1.1. Why is that? This should be size 1 and 1. Is that going to be fine if I do that? Yes. Okay. So it has to all be 1 on 1. Let's just set the size here as well. So add component box collider 2D, new tile. They'll get component box collider 2D dot size equals. Is this a vector 2? Yes. So we're going to say vector 2 dot 1. That way, x and y should default to 1, I believe. If your tiles are bigger, then you've done something wrong. But that's easy to fix. It will just be something to fix in your pixels per unit. Let's see if this worked real quick. Here we go. Pause. Okay, he is stuck in the earth. I'm not sure if that is because he fell too fast. Could be. I'm just gonna move him up like this for now. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so these are I'm able to stand on these because these are solid, according to our code. And the other thing we want to fix is this. We don't want our camera to be able to see the edge of the world. So kind of like how Terraria does it. We want it to be locked about here, right there. So our player can move to the very end, but our camera obviously can't. So he can jump 2 blocks high. Yep, that's fine. And he will be stuck here. Yes. Okay. All right, that's fine. Let's just fix that up in our tile classes. So open here, dead grass. Can I? Yes, I can. Okay. So dead grass, cactus, tall grass. If you have mushroom tile class separately, then that as well. Leaf as well. Should not be solid. With logs, I'm going to set them to not solid for the moment. Because the issue is when it generates, we don't want it to be solid. But if it's in the if it's something that the player places, then it should be solid. The other thing we have to fix up is whether it's in the background or not. So in fact, let's say rather than is solid, we'll say is it in background. So very easy to fix. We're just going to say here, rename this to in background. It will default to true. That's fine. when we create when we place tile, so our place tile here, we want to take in another bool. This is going to be background element. And then here, when we place our box collider and all of that, we're going to say if background element, sorry, if not background element, so exclamation mark there, and then do all of this. That's going to give us multiple errors. So let's see. Here, this is placing generate grass, tall grass. This is going to say comma false. For generate cactus, this should be false as well. For generating tree, these should all be false. It's a bit of an effort to add, but it is worth it, because what we're going to be able to do is when the player faces a block, we can say if it's in background, then we can define it when he's placing that block, because he's going to be able to place blocks in the background, such as walls as well, for example, which, yeah, we need to fix this up for that. Almost done. False, and then false here as well. Up here, we're going to have one for, so caves, this is placing solid blocks, right? Yes, so this should be true. And this should be also true. Regardless, yeah, that's correct. And I think that's correct. Okay. So now this doesn't matter because we set this from code anyway. Let's hit play and see what happens. Our guy might get stuck in the terrain again. So we will fix that up. Once our terrain generates. Is he going to be stuck? Oh, no, he's not. Yes, he is. Hold up. I think this is background. Yeah, backwards. Yes, okay. Because I said not background element. Yes. So this should actually be true. So let's change these to true. That's fine there for our tree. So is background, yes, this is background. This is true, it is in background. Apart from that, these should be false. Yes, okay. Now let's hit play and it should work. Let me just pull him out. We're gonna do this terrain generation. Player spawning normally, so he actually spawns where he should be. So he will spawn here rather than falling from the sky, of course. That is perfect. Yep. And that's in the background as well, yes. So you can see that one leg is in the back of the block and one leg is kind of in the front. So yeah, there's a couple of things going on here. The player is actually inside. So the easiest way to fix this is, so you'll see all of these, the order and layer is going to be 1 or -1, whereas the terrain spawns always at 1. So what we have to do is simply just say, when we, in the sprite renderer, when we generate that, we're going to say order and layer equals, we'll say -5 for the terrain. That way it's behind things such as entities and stuff. So sprite renderer dot order in layer equals, we'll give it something like I said, -5. Just so it's well and truly out the way, because we might want to put things on those other layers. All right, yep. And then we're going to fix this of the guy. Okay, you know what? I'm going to assume it's fixed, but let's test it anyway. Okay, I'm going to just move him here, save some time, and yep, that is fine. Right, yeah, okay, cool. Now, like I said, let's fix his spawning because it is very broken. So we're going to say on this start, what we have to do is essentially get the height of the tile in the middle of the world. So, which is going to return, where is it? Let's see. Where's our noise function? Height equals that. Yes, so this is kind of what we have to return, which is slightly annoying because this is hard to calculate. So the idea now is to essentially, once we generate our world, so after we generate terrain, in fact, we could do it here. So on our player control, we're going to create a new public static spawn. This should be public static vector 2, yes. Spawn position. So we'll call it spawn pos. We don't have to give the value, that's fine. Here we're going to say if x is equal to world size divided by 2. Yep, that will find the midpoint. Yep. We're going to say player controller dot spawn pos equals x equals new. We'll have to do, yeah. So we'll say new vector 2 x and height plus 1, I believe. That should be fine like that. Right, and then on our player controller, when we say void start, that's fine. We just have to say transform dot position. In fact, we'll have to do get component transform. Not that, transform dot position equals spawn position. Nice. So let's hit play again, and now our guy should spawn perfectly in the middle of the world on top of the block. Index out of bounds. What's going on? New tiles will transform the parent. Who's that? But everything generated. Interesting. Okay, so the reason that comes up is if a tree generates right here, you'll see its leaves hang off. So this block will be the world border, but it's trying to generate these blocks out here, which obviously it can't. So that doesn't make sense. This, I don't know why he's spawning there. Let's fix this tree issue up first, because actually a couple people reported this and I wasn't sure exactly what the issue was, but now I'm seeing it for myself. So it gives us a better idea. All we have to do is if not world that contains this, and int x is greater than 0. Oh no, wait. And x is greater than or equal to 0. And x is less than or equal to world size. And y is greater than or equal to 0. And y is less than or equal to world size. World size, yes. This should not be there. Cool. So now basically it shouldn't be able to generate a tile there in the first place, which is fantastic. That's exactly what we want. So that will fix that issue. Now back to our player controller issue. Let's debug.log what this spawn position is. So equals that. We're going to say here, we'll say debug.log spawn, well, not there, spawn position. And let's see what it gives us. In fact, we should not have a start function. This should be generate. So this will be public static void, not generate, spawn. So there we go, we'll do that. But obviously we won't be able to do this, yes. Maybe I don't have to make these static. So public spawn pause, yes, spawn. So it's going to spawn after our world has generated, is the thing. That's going to give us an error on this line. That's fantastic. We know about that. Up here in the start function, After generate terrain, we have to call spawn on the player controller, which means we just have to have a public. In fact, we'll put this at the start. Never mind, hold up. Scroll all the way up and we'll put it here. Public player controller player. We're going to set this in the inspector. That's fine. We're going to say player dot spawn. Spawn, right? Yes, cool. And that's cool. We're going to set the spawn pos here. So player dot spawn pos equals that. That is cool. Back to our player controller. That is fine as well. So position equals that. Cool. The only thing we have to do now is under our terrain in the inspector, we just have to set the player root object as the player object. So here, drag and drop him right there. Cool. Hit play and cross your fingers, because I think it should work. Yes, it looked to work. Right? Is that okay? Yeah, straight bang in the middle of the world. 51.7 was that? Don't know if that's correct. Let me regenerate it. We might even want to set the position of the camera to be the center of the world as well, because you can kind of see it like quickly switch over here. It looked to be okay, but until we set the camera, we can't really tell, to be honest, if that's working correctly. So that's what we'll do real quick now. We'll just make it so our camera doesn't just spawn at the bottom of the world and then quickly jolt up to our player. So exact same way as we did the player, we're just gonna set here. We're gonna create another variable, public cam controller camera. And same way here in fixed update, that's fine. But in void, we'll have to create a public void set. We'll call it spawn as well. That should be fine. Trans, we'll have to do it here. Yes. Public vector2 spawn pos again. And then in the spawn function, get component transform dot position equals new vector3 we'll have to do. Spawn pos dot x. Spawn pos dot x. Spawn. There's a better way to do this actually. Let's do it this way. We'll put vector3 pos here, and we're going to position equals pos, and then in our terrain generation, when we say player.spawn, before we do that, we're going to say camera.spawn, and that's going to take in a couple, that's going to take in the vector3 position here. So it's going to be vector3, new vector3, player.spawn position, spawn position dot x, player dot spawn position dot y, and then -10 here. Or in fact, we'll just say camera dot transform dot position dot z. Okay, I think that's fine. Only one way to find out. Let's go to our camera object and drag and drop our main camera, sorry, a terrain object, drag and drop, save that, hit play, and see what happens. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work and we'll have to find another solution. Oh, it worked. Fantastic. Okay. Yes, so our player is spawning fantastically in our world, but currently not doing anything. He's kind of just there. Like, I'm stuck in a hole at the moment. What does Lion Life come to? So, like I said, the biggest things to do is to add the ability to break and place blocks. That's also very, very simple, because we've spent a lot of time on our terrain generation script, which makes our life a lot easier when it comes to that sort of stuff. The harder thing we have to do at the moment is have it so our camera, its position gets clamped. Here, so we're gonna math f dot clamp, because this acts more as a function. So pos dot x, we're gonna clamp it between 0 and, is it 0? No. It'll be 0 plus get component camera dot or camera dot orthographic size. Yes. So it depends on how much the camera can see. Yes. Yes. And then we have to get the terrain generation's world size, which we will just set here. We'll say public int world size, and we're gonna we can maybe make this private. We'll say this public int world size hide in inspector, so that way we don't see it on the side. We don't need to. We're gonna set it here. So right up here, camera dot spawn is this. Yep, camera dot world size equals world size. Cool. So that's in our terrain generation. Head back to our cam controller, and this is gonna be world size minus get component camera dot orthographic size. But a better way to do this would say private float ortho size, and ortho size is going to equal get component orthographic size. So paste that in there, and then I'm going to copy ortho size and put that here. So negative ortho size, same here, world size minus ortho size. So 0 plus that. Okay. Let's see if that worked. High chance it didn't, or it might be slightly off. Let's see. Go to the world size. Is this the edge of the world? It is. And he is not being clamped. Oh no, we're not at the edge of the world yet, that's why. Okay, I think that's the edge of the world there. Is that correct? Yes, we are. Okay, so you can see is that right? I'm not sure. Hold on. Let's drag and drop our player up here. It's not really being clamped, it doesn't look like. If we clamp this mathf.lamp, is that gonna work? Mathf.clamp. Alright, let's say pos.x .x equals mathf.clamp pos.x. I have a feeling it's not gonna work. We might have to put that in the actual calculate itself methods. Okay, wait. You can see it gets stuck there. It gets stuck. Okay, so it does work. We just have to increase the orthographic size to orthographic size. So plus orthographic size times 2 minus orthographic size times 2. Now that should work. Okay, so that looks better. If I go to game, then you can see our camera gets stuck there. But we can still kind of see slightly over the edge, which is not really what we want. While we fix that as well, I'm actually going to increase the orthographic size to 10. I'm also going to give us a nice background to look at, so just make a nice color there. I want to see how it works with a bigger orthographic size. So in scene, you want to select your player. This I've been testing it, by the way. I'm just dragging my player root over and seeing where it stops. So if I go back to here, you can see our camera stops here at the edge of the world. And then we keep walking. When this plays back to the center of the screen, the camera starts moving again with it. So that is perfect. But yes, we just have to fix this error issue on the side there. So plus times orthographic size times 2.1 f maybe times 2 points. We'll say times 2.2 f. And we'll just keep slightly multiplying it and testing it with different sizes to see when it works. It might be 2.5 f. That seems like a logical number because it's a half, but we shall test it and see. Yes, 2.2 is not enough. Like I said, do 2.5. That seems like it's going to be optimal. And then that should be that done. And then we can end this episode here. Next episode, we're going to go into breaking and placing blocks. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do the animation for... Okay, something broke. Whoa. Index out of bounds. What's this? Vector 2 movements. Whoa. A lot of things broke then. Okay, that broke as well. This broke as well. I'm just going to pretend that it didn't happen and press play again. No idea why that came up that time. Is it going to come up again? No, it doesn't. Our player also still spawns inside the block. That's not correct. But is this correct? If I go to game, it's cutting off, I think, like half a block or something. I might do 2.5 and leave it there. You guys can play around with these values. Play around with the orthographic size or whatnot. It's if you do 2.5 or anything more than 2, it seems like it doesn't matter. It's just going to cut off more blocks at the end of the world. But if you guys don't mind about literally the blocks at the edge of the world being cut off, then in which case I don't really care. It's the edge of the world. Nothing's happening there anyway. In fact, it's probably better because you can have stuff spawning in before the world then, rather than just appearing at the edge of the camera. If that makes sense. But yeah, just little things like that. Play around. See what you like. But that's going to be it from me for this episode. And like I said, next episode, actually, you know what? Maybe we should quickly fix that because that's super simple to fix. In player controller, just head over to where we spawn. Oh no, it's in terrain generation, isn't it? When we set the player spawn position. Where is it? Where is it? I think it's up here. Where is it now? I can't find it. I've probably gone past it like 10 times as well. Generate terrain, here we go. +1. Let's just do +2, and that should finally work. It's a bit confusing because the player's height is not exactly 2 blocks. It's not exactly 1 block. So it's technically a decimal place. There we go. Yeah, so it just spawns slightly above the terrain, which is fine for our purposes. Let's see if we can make it to the edge of... No, we can't. Because... Oh, no, here we go. Yes. There we go, edge of the world. And yeah, except our player can still go past, which is a problem. We can't have that. We have to have him stop before the edge of the camera, which we're going to sort out next episode as well, because we've run out of time. Alright, I'll catch you guys later in the next one. Also, join the Discord, link in the below if it works. Hopefully it does. So many issues, I don't even know. Join it right now.